Good morning! Halika, magkape tayo. Welcome to the morning coffee with Father Jerry. Our text for today's reflection comes from St. Luke chapter 16 verses 1 to 8. It says, He also said to his disciples, There was a rich man who had a steward, and charges were brought to him that this man was wasting his goods. And he called him and said to him, What is this that I hear about you? Turn in the account of your stewardship, for you can no longer be steward. And the steward said to himself, What shall I do, since my master is taking the stewardship away from me? I am not strong enough to dig, and I am ashamed to beg. I have decided what to do, so that people may receive me into their homes, then when I am put out of the stewardship. So, summoning his master's debtors one by one, he said to the first, How much do you owe my master? He said, 100 measures of oil. And he said to him, Take your bill and sit down quickly and write only 50. Then he said to another, How much do you owe? He said, 100 measures of wheat. He said to him, Take your bill and write 80. So the master commanded the dishonest steward for his shrewdness. For the sons of this world are more shrewd in dealing with their own generation than the sons of the light. Thus far is the reading of the Gospel for today's reflection. What is it for us today? What is God's message today through this text just read? Actually, isa ito sa mga gospel passages na nagdudulot minsan ng confusion from us, the hearers. Confusion in the sense na yung presentation sa storya ni Jesus about this smart guy, steward of somebody, na sabihin natin, he was cheating. When that moment, when he knew that he was about to be, that moment when he was about to be kicked off by his master, naisip niya ang ganito. What will happen to me? Talagang my master is so serious about kicking me off. So what will happen to me later? Ito ang gagawin ko. Cut the long story short, kinatawag niya mga debtors ng kanyang master, and then kung sino yung may mga utang na 100, sabi niya ilagay niya ng 50. And so on and so forth. Then, later on, cut the long story short again, Jesus at the end of the gospel story, para bang presentation niya na na-appreciate niya itong taong to dahil sa kanyang pagiging foresighted, as astuteness ang tawag ito, dahil sa kanyang marunong siyang magaling ang kanyang foresight, anticipation about himself on what will happen to him after this nakakahiyang kick out sa kanyang master. The story is more or less ganun ang takbo. Then, yes, sabi nga ni Jesus, ang last part dito, the master commanded the dishonest steward for his astuteness, foresightedness. For the sons of this world are more shrewd, smart in dealing with their own generation than the sons of light. Yun ang sinasabi ko na talagang na-appreciate siya. Pero let's put the whole text into its proper context. There was the appreciation of Jesus. But ang kanyang appreciation, I would like to emphasize it. He was not appreciated because he was shrewd, he was smart, he was clever. No. Hindi yan ang object why he was appreciated. He was appreciated because he knows how to foresee his own future. He knows how to anticipate or how to prepare his life in the future. Yun yung konteksto ng appreciation doon. Ulitin ko, not because of his being smart and shrewd or clever, but because he knows how to use his mind for seeing what will happen next into his life when he was already kicked out by his master. That's the whole parable story today. Before the news of his dismissal became public knowledge, the steward struck a deal with his master's debtors. In discounting their debts, he knew he probably would give him a generous commission. Such a deal won him great favor with the debtors later. What is the point of Jesus in this parable? The dishonest steward is commended not for mishandling his master's wealth, but for the shrewdness or astuteness because of his foresightedness in averting personal disaster and securing his future livelihood. See, the original meaning of shrewdness or astuteness is foresight. Foresight is pananaw sa mga paparating na sitwasyon in the future. Okay? So faith and prudent foresight can save us from moral and spiritual disaster, which is our challenge today. Faith and prudent, underline the term prudent foresight, can save us from moral degradation and spiritual disaster. At iyan ang nangyayari ng steward na marunong, magaling sa kanyang foresight. Sinisiguro niya that his life after this life will be sure, secured, and he will be okay in their community. So Jesus is concerned here with something more critical than just a financial or economic crisis. Do you make good use of your money and possessions? Jesus seemed to praise a steward, a manager entrusted with his master's goods, who misused his employer's money. What did the steward do that made Jesus praise him? Because of his sense of, sinabi natin, foresight, preparedness of the things to come into his life. Our challenge is, yes, be clever and be smart. Do not just live for today. Learn and prepare how to live your life in the near future. Because life is just not about here and the now, but the true essence of life is here and beyond. Underline. Ikaw mismo ang gumagawa sa totoong buhay mo beyond this life. Yun na nga ang challenge because some of us only think that life is about here and now. And we take for granted life beyond this life. Or we are just taking for granted the life ahead of us. And Jesus appreciates it, commended the foresightedness or for commended the foresightedness of the shrewd servant. Why? Because how he knows how to prepare his life ahead of him. So ulitin, life is not just the here and the now. Life is more appreciated when we are also prepared the life ahead of this life. So paano to, mga kapatid? Good morning ulit at magandang buhay sa ating lahat. See you on Monday.